Hi, today I'm going to be teaching you about the Gizmos website, and it's offered through www.explorelearning.com. And Gizmos are actually learning activities that you can assign to your class once you have that online learning space set up. It's very easy to set up a teacher account. There is a free portion of this tool and then also a subscription portion. So it's easy to go in and log on, and when you do that, you create a username, password, and you can link it to your district and your school and your grade level. And I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and log on to mine to show you what the teacher workspace looks like. Basically, what you're going to want to do first once you get onto the Gizmo website is set up a class. So you can do that by going to Manage Class and rename the class to be what you want it to be. And then if you have additional classes that you teach, you would use the plus sign to add more classes. When you do that, you have an option to add to your class roster. And for younger grades, I recommend typing in your student's first name and last name, and it creates their username and password for them. And you can print those out in a printable form for them to have kind of their own login card. But for older kids, you can give them this class code and they just go to the website, they type in this code and create their own username and password that links to your class roster. So that's better for older kids. Once you have your class set up, you're going to want to assign gizmos that apply to what you teach. And you can search for these learning opportunities with the Find Gizmos tab. You can search by academic standard, grade level topic, or textbook. And then if you use the free version of the website, you're going to want to use the free gizmos. With the free gizmos, you can also narrow that down by specifically what you teach. Again, if I didn't mention it before, the Gizmo website is going to be geared towards math and science teachers only, and all of the Gizmos activities are Common Core aligned. So I'm going to start by showing you some science activities, and these are what the Gizmos look like. You find one that may apply to what you teach. It's very easy to go in and just add it to your class and assign just by clicking. And as the teacher, you can launch the gizmo just to get a feel for what it has to offer. First, all gizmos have this sort of activity workspace, and then every activity workspace after students go through their lesson concludes with assessments. And there are 5 questions, multiple choice assessments for every gizmo. I'll talk to you a little more about that later. And the other really important thing is that every lesson has lesson information and materials that are really helpful. This is something that I think makes the Gizmo tool a little different from some other adaptive online learning websites that I know about, that there is always a paper connection that goes with every activity. There's a student exploration sheet, a teacher guide that gives you a lot of great background knowledge on a topic, but also ideas to enrich or scaffold for higher and lower learners, and then a vocabulary sheet. So I'm going to go back to my classes and show you one that I've already assigned. This is the fraction garden that helps my 3rd graders compare fractions. And on this view, I can see sort of a smaller view of that workspace. And then you can also see the learning objectives and again those lesson materials that I pointed out with that other gizmo. So I've already downloaded those, so I wanted to kind of show you what they look like. So this is the student exploration sheet, and every one starts with the vocabulary at the top, an activity for prior knowledge so that they can kind of get their feet wet with the concept, and then a warm-up that mostly has to do with the skill, but like teaches them how to use all the buttons and the pieces on the activity workspace. So it's like an introduction to how to do it before they start to dive deeper. And then it goes into the activities. Like you can see activity A, comparing fractions, activity B, equivalent fractions, activity C. And then by the time they finally get to the last part of the student activity sheet, they're really challenging themselves to think on their own, and there's some more open response instead of single answers. So I think these activity sheets, along with the interactive workspace, sorry, that should be down, um, are they are rigorous. I think there are some things about these gizmos that are lower level depth of knowledge and lower level blooms, and I'm going to point those out when I look into the student view. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to point out something that the teacher version is lacking, and that is really a good reports section. I'm not sure if that comes with the paid version, but for the free version, there is not a reports tab. There's not a way to look at more in-depth results on how a student is doing. So I'm going to go to this little icon, graph icon, that shows you how my student did on their short 5-question quiz. And you can kind of see this is pretty much the only teacher data that you get. Multiple choice questions, and you get a percentage out of 5 that they got correct. It doesn't do a breakdown of what skills they struggled with so that you can go back and try to fill in those gaps. So that's something that this website is maybe lacking. So I'm going to show you the student view quickly, and then I'll wrap this up. So my student Aubrey is already into that fraction gizmo that I talked to you about. And for students, they just have to click on what's been assigned, and then they launch the gizmo. And then while they are doing the gizmo, they have to have that printed paper activity sheet to guide them through the activities. Like I said, the warm-up has them kind of practice with what to click on and what the buttons are for, and then the actual activities guide them to actually interact with it. So I think that there, to some extent, is some higher order thinking skills here, because they are creating, they are having to explain what they are doing by the time they get to those challenge questions like I showed you by the time they get to the bottom of the student activity sheet. But for the most part, by the time students do the different work, they answer the assessment questions that are a lot of remembering, understanding, and applying. So those kind of bottom base foundation levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and also DOK levels 1, 2, and 3. So that's just something to kind of consider, that the only assessment tool is multiple choice questions with this site. I think that pretty much wraps up the student view. So all they do is they choose their answers, and I'm just going to go through and click some and then show you the kind of feedback that a student would get after they go through the lesson. And they just hit check your answers, and it shows at the top a record of what they got right, and that's already submitted to the teacher. And then you can see your answer and then an explanation of the correct answer, which is, I think, a pretty typical feedback structure for multiple choice on the computer. And then you do have an opportunity to go back and redo it. So that is something. Then when I take Aubrey back to her main page, again, it does show the other gizmos that I have assigned to her. So I'll start with just kind of my overview and analysis of gizmos. I think the best things on this site are that it is really interactive for students, but it does stay rooted in the core content. It doesn't get too gamey. It doesn't focus on necessarily like earning points or getting prizes. So it is very academic in that way, which can be a really good thing. And those activity sheets in some ways could be excellent because they are scaffolded within themselves. but they are PDF documents. A teacher can't go in and edit them. And as you can see, they're very wordy. So I think about some of my English language learners trying to do one of these things on their own, and it does not seem very user friendly for them in that way. Um, and the things that I think that this website is lacking is that it doesn't have a good reports feature for teachers like some of the other sites that the adaptive learning sites that I've watched you guys present on. And I also don't necessarily feel like this is that adaptive. It's definitely something where the teacher needs to be in control and managing the students' activities and their progress. It doesn't automatically do it on its own in the free version anyway. So this is my analysis, and I think I'll use it to some extent with my students, and in others, I will rely on some of those other adaptive learning resources that we've learned about in this class. Thank you.